Hey, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Fit for what the heck? Welcome to day 754 of What's She Up To Now. She being Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. So, yep, all about me. Not the great way to start, but I started this 754 days ago, just documenting my journey. I am visually challenged, and so in order to keep track of what I'm doing, what's working, what's not working, and just kind of learn from my own mistakes and share it with others, I started to just do a daily journal, just a daily walkthrough. What am I working on? What's working? What's not? What am I feeling sad, miserable, worried, lonely, disgusted, frustrated with? What am I feeling excited about? I wanted to share that journey to help shortcut other people's miserable journey or make their journey awesome and not miserable at all, or just to save you from hitting obstacles and roadblocks that I've stumbled over. You know, there's some stuff that's taken me months, okay, maybe even years, and weeks to figure out that we can always figure everything out, right? There's always an answer. There's always a solution. But sometimes we block ourselves in our thinking and our beliefs and the way we're looking at it, and we just can't see it. It's right in front of our freaking face, and we just can't see it. It's like Eeyore. If we get in an Eeyore mood, and I have Eeyore here because my granddaughter was in a definite Eeyore mood yesterday, and I was trying to get her out of it. And I was trying to tell her about Eeyore and how Eeyore looks at the world in gloomy, doomy ways, and that's why he's sort of miserable all the time. And she didn't understand why his tail was only attached by a nail, and I couldn't really quite explain that to her in ways that made her satisfied with the description. Or we can look at things from another perspective. There's always a different way to look at things. So today, our Supersize Your Business was about fit as a fiddle, and I screwed up, and I talked too much, and it was over 12 minutes. Guess what? For certain aspects of sharing my videos, the way I do my 25X thing, I cannot share it in certain places if it's over 10 minutes. So I was like looking at that 12 minutes and cringing and thinking, okay, too many stories, talk too much. So I immediately just reshot it, and then it was 7.5 minutes. Probably wasn't nearly as good, and I left stuff out of, I didn't even talk about till the very end. I remembered that I hadn't said where the idiom came from. That's what happens with live video. It is what it is. But with respect to what I'm doing with the 25X of my content, I don't want to have it be over 10 minutes. Not even 1 second over 10 minutes. It can't be over at all. And sometimes I have time to redo it, but I don't usually like to reshoot it, but I don't know how to, painful confession, I do not know how, and I do not want to learn how to edit my videos. Could I figure it out? Yes. Do I want to? Absolutely, positively, totally not. It's too much detailed stuff, and I don't want to do it. Should I hire somebody to do it for me and edit my videos and clean them up and polish them and then put them up, you know, maybe once a week or twice a week instead of every day? Probably. That's not me, right? Other people do that, but that's not me, and so that wouldn't be, and maybe I'll do that down the road, but right now, it's not true to me and who I am and what I'm doing, especially this segment. This segment is just to show, you know, what I'm struggling with, what's working. And I will say, when I make over a 10-minute video, number one, nobody's going to listen to it, right? Who's got an extra? There's so many people that we listen to, and maybe, you know, some people will listen to it, but the vast majority of people don't have 12 minutes unless they're driving to work that they're going to listen to me talk about fit as a fiddle and why you need to be fit as a fiddle in 7 areas of your life, not just one or the other. So morning frustration, not super frustrated, but my granddaughter's off school today, so I know I have her all day, and I'm going to hang out and play with her all day. I have a fun idea for us today. I'm going to run it by her and see if she wants to do it. So maybe she's not so gloomy. I don't think she'll be gloomy. She's never very gloomy once, and she was awesome after school, so I don't know what the deal was. And then we were playing a hide and seek game. She was hiding 9 little toys, these little round ball toys, and I still have one to find. We couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, and she didn't remember where she hid it. So I'll have to go in search of that before she comes this morning. Or that'll be a game we can play today. We can search for the little missing ball animal. I don't know what they're called. There's some little thing she got for Christmas. It's really sad as I got it for her for Christmas, and I still don't know what they're called. So, fit as a fiddle. Are you fit as a fiddle? I challenge you today to look at your life, just grab a piece of paper and write down these 7 categories: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And by each of those, nobody's going to know what it is. Ask yourself right now, how would I rate my life on a scale to 10 right now, this instant, physically? How would I rate my life right now on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being negative, 10 being positive, and I'm just defining it that way? Mentally and emotionally and spiritually, where would I rate myself? Where would I rate my finances on a scale of 1 to 10? You know, 1 being It could be 0. If you got no money and you're negative, I would say that's a 0. But if you're living and still eating and breathing, maybe it's at least a 1 financially. I don't know. It's up to you to decide and define the numbers, but it's just a snapshot of where you are right this instant today. You know, you could die tomorrow and physically be a 0. You could, or today, you could win the lottery or some other thing, get an inheritance, anything today as well. So you don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. You don't care about the past. It's how do I feel, and it's a subjective thing. How do I feel about this area of my life right now? And do that for each of these 7 categories. And then if you want, you can take an average, take all 7, add them up, and divide by 7, and see what your overall today's snapshot feeling about your life is. I actually like to do this about once a month, and I like to look at where am I trending. And guess what? It goes like this, but I want to make sure that the graph is always going up. But it changes all the time. It changes on whether I'm having a bad day when I do this or not, right? Or a good day when I'm doing this, because it's subjective. But over time, we all want to be improving and growing and making our life better. So I challenge you to do that today. Ask yourself, how physically fit do I feel? How much energy do I have? Scale of 1 to 10. And then you're going to look at that and say, okay, I'm at a 7, and guess what? I am perfectly happy and satisfied to be at a 7 physically. Or I am at an 8 financially, and I'm super stoked and excited about that. I'm not going to put a ton of time and energy toward that. But maybe emotionally or spiritually, you feel like you're struggling in either one of those areas. Or mentally, maybe you feel like you've been worrying too much. And you know, a lot of times we're not worrying about ourselves. We're worrying about, for us parents, our kids and other people. Maybe you're worrying about that you're not doing enough, or you're not having a big enough impact. One of my sisters, her son just went to college, and she's like, okay, well now what do I do? How do I go back out into the world and create the impact, or have any impact, or do something that makes me feel good? So that could be contribution. Maybe your relationships. I mean, I'm divorced, so I'm sure I'm not an 8, a 9, or a 10 on relationships, but in other relationships I am, right? My relationship with my kids is really strong. My relationship with my granddaughter, that's a 9 or a 10. I have a great relationship with her. But overall, for all my relationships, how would you rate yourself? Well, it's a really good exercise to do now, just for a snapshot, and say, hey, am I happy with this? Great, I'm happy with that area. There's some things I don't ever want to be a 10 in. Physically, I don't ever want to be a 10 in it, and that's a conscious choice. 9 or a 10, good God. To me, that is people that are super professional athletes, super healthy, super high energy, amazing, top of the line masters of that part of their life. And I will contend, you can't be a 10 in all these categories. I don't think there's a human being that has ever been a 10 in all these categories at once. If you know someone, hit me up in the comments below, because I would love to research and study that person and model them in their behavior. But just do this. I challenge you to do this today. It's easy. It doesn't have to take hardly any time at all. I actually make my kids do this every once in a while when they're having a hard time or struggling with something. I say, okay, I want you to sit down right now and rate your life on each of these areas. And what happens is we usually find that we're really strong in some areas and we're really struggling in other areas. But the area that we're struggling in tends to pull all of the other areas of our life down. If I'm having relationship struggles, when I was going through my divorce, when I was married, my relationships were about a 3, right? Because the negativity of my marriage and that relationship and going through the divorce brought all of my other relationships down. And so that was an area I was struggling with. That area, when you're struggling in an area, when you're struggling physically, when I had a sudden cardiac arrest, that just negated everything else, right? That pulled everything else down to the level of where I was feeling physically. So that's why we want to pay attention to this. Now, you'll notice I'm not talking about balance with this at all. I don't know anybody that has ever been able to balance or be a 10 in all of these. Again, if you know somebody that has perfectly balanced physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution, I want to see their name in the comments below too, because I want to model and study them. I want to know, what are they doing, what are they thinking, what are they feeling, what habits do they have that are allowing them to get that level of result. Because I would like that level of result, right? I don't know that it's different for each of us, and that's what makes life fun and interesting, is that each of us are going to prioritize and decide what's important and what's not important to us. So working on that for supersizing your business, because these things apply to our businesses as well as our personal life. Challenge, day 2 of the no sugar challenge. I decided yesterday when I woke up I had to just de-sugar. And of course, what would happen? My son, when he came to pick up his daughter, brought a box of giant Cinnabons. So what did I do? I hid him in the microwave. He was going to take him with him and he forgot him. So as soon as I saw him, I wrapped him up in the bag and I stuck him in the microwave, out of sight, out of mind, right? I will say, for day 1, yesterday was kind of a challenge for me because my granddaughter and I, for my son's birthday, made him chocolate chip cookie, gooey chocolate chip cookie, and decadent cookie dough ice cream or custard from Culver's ice cream sandwiches. And they were sitting there eating those after lunch, and I'm like, oh, that looks so delicious, but I didn't eat one. So I didn't do sugar yesterday. I had plain oatmeal, and I forgot, I actually like plain oatmeal. I like the old-fashioned big coarse cut oatmeal, and just with nothing on it, it actually was good. It doesn't need sugar and all the things I like to put on it. I used to, I got my kids to eat oatmeal by putting brown sugar and butter on it because it tastes like caramel, and we are definitely a caramel family. But it's good plain. So day 2 of the no sugar challenge. I don't know if today will be as hard as yesterday. Yesterday was unbelievably challenging. I had to like exercise my willpower and say no to myself a lot, which is just an indicator of how much I've let my little habits slip a little bit in that area. So just say no. No caramels for 5 days. I can do it. No sugar for 5 days. I can do it. Live challenge workshop coming up March 23rd, and you're like, why are you waiting so long to start another challenge? You're always doing a challenge, which is part of why I'm doing the sugar challenge, right? I have to always have something that I'm working on personally and something that I'm working on for my business. And right now I'm at a lull because I'm actually working on a lot of stuff, but it's all in the background. Yesterday I was working on going through and adding some consistency to my social media profiles and to the graphics and things. I'm working on the workbook for the Live Thrive. That's the last one, was the Live Thrive Challenge, for the Live Challenge workshop. So I want to have a workbook to go along with the workshop. So every day people can follow along through the discussion, fill in the blanks, which I'm not really good at being that structured and filling in the blanks since I can't see teleprompters and things like most people could, or notes. It's harder for me to follow the same structure over and over again. But I do tend to talk about the same stuff over and over again, so that won't be as big a challenge. But making sure, and I'll probably have to have a cohort that helps to keep me online and ask questions out loud in case I miss something that I want to make sure that I cover throughout the challenge. But I'm working on the workbooks. I'm working on spiffing it up and making it more professional and more user-friendly than my challenges have probably been in the past. I've done so many different challenges, and some of them, 90 days, 365 days, and guess what? The vast majority of the people are never going to hang out for a 90-day challenge. They're never going to hang out even for a 30-day or a 21-day challenge. But that is my way of finding my people, sorting out and finding who do I want to work with, who do I want in my circle of influence, who are the people that I want to mastermind with and bring onto my team, and who are the people I want and can help the most, who are the people that want and are ready to create the life that they want to create supersize the business that they want to bring out into the world. So working on that, working on formalizing that and making it a better way to present what it is that I have to offer to people, and make a more fun program, and actually a program, a year-long program. I'm going for a year-long program because I can definitely teach people stuff in a year. I've got 47 years of entrepreneurial and business and corporate experience, manufacturing, all different type of businesses, along with tons of education, 3 degrees, and all kinds of courses and books. I've read thousands of books, and I've done I've done hundreds of different courses in learning and advanced learning skills and techniques and strategies and all this stuff. And it's like, it needs to come out of my head. It needs to be out of my head and out into the world to share with other people, because it's not doing me any good in my head, right? It's just there, all coagulating and creating stuff that comes out of my mouth. Fun challenge, day 45 today. 45 days already of the do one fun thing every day. If you want to participate in that, it's on my Pajama Grandma page. I just do it live on my Pajama Grandma page every morning. I actually started doing that a couple years ago to wake my voice up and to get me over the fear of doing live video. And it's a good thing I did, because in the last couple of years, I've gone legally blind. I've been challenged with my vision since my early 20s. Actually, yeah, my 20s. I was 20. And loss of vision in my left eye. And over the last 10 years, since my sudden cardiac arrest, that sort of triggered the same challenges to be developing in my right eye. And I had cataract surgery, and that helped it for a few years, but over the last couple of years it deteriorated a lot. And so I don't drive anymore. I can't drive. I can't do a lot of things, but I don't focus on what I can't do. I focus on what I can do, right? And I can do videos. And so something told me a couple of years ago, you better start figuring this out. Stop being afraid of doing videos. Start talking and you'll figure it out. And so I did a year-long challenge to do one thing every day that scared me, to stretch my comfort zone. And then guess what? After you do something for a year, it sort of becomes a habit. And then you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do next year? So about halfway into that, I thought, okay, this isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. What am I going to do at the end of the year? And then I found a book that was do one thing every day that makes you happy. So I did a year of that. And this year I'm doing one fun thing every day. Because guess what? It helps me to get more of what I want in my life. I was scared to do things, so I wanted to overcome my fear and have more courage. And so I did a year of comfort zone stretching. And guess what? I still do comfort zone stretching every day, right? Because after a year, it's become this huge habit of I'm always looking for opportunities and ways to grow and show up more as me. The same thing with happiness. I didn't stop looking for happy things or things that make me happy every day. It just became natural, and I'm always looking for things to be happy about. Now, I'm hoping I'll always be looking for fun things and things that are fun. And I haven't. For a lot of years, man, I was so freaking serious and so stoic and so head down, head to the grindstone, hustle, hustle, work, 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 work. And that almost killed me. So, happiness, fun, courage. Those are the things I'm working on. Those are the things I continue to look for every single day. Actually, after my sudden cardiac arrest, because I started this even before I actually did it as a formal challenge, and way before I ever did Facebook Live videos, I challenged myself. I was going to... After I had my sudden cardiac arrest, I knew I needed to make massive lifestyle changes. So I challenged myself. I said, and I did say it out loud, which was a mistake, by the way, because you get all the people and the naysayers, that I was going to exercise every day for a year. And the closest place, the best place for me to exercise after I got a cardiac rehab and things like that was at the state park. I live, my house is still, although I'm selling it this month, not wood, within a mile, half a mile actually, from the state park, a beautiful state park called Willow River State Park. And so I would walk there every day. And I thought, geez, I'm going to get bored walking there every day. So, I don't know, a little ways into my walking every day, I thought, I'm going to look for something beautiful that I haven't noticed before every day when I go for a walk. And for about 4 years, I know every day I saw something, and it was so incredible. I took pictures of it. I should probably do something with that because it's really fun. But every day I would see something that I had never noticed before. That's how abundant nature is. It's just, we don't even see what's right in front of us. I mean, there were so many years where I saw things and I'm like, I've been walking on these same trails, and I memorized the trails forward and backwards. And I mean, I'm blind, but I could still go through the trails there. I mean, I was going through them as they were building a lot of these trails. It's kind of fun. But every day I would see something beautiful to take a picture of. And my daughter informed me that most of my pictures are fuzzy, but I would just point and shoot. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was just that I saw something beautiful, something new to me, and it was pretty, and I took a picture of it. So always be growing, always be challenging yourself, always be becoming a better version of yourself, because that's what we're here for. That's our purpose. So working on that, and I love challenges. I absolutely positively love challenges, and I don't know why it's taken me this long to put my stake in the sand and say, hey, this is my thing. Challenges are my jam. So you're going to see more things with respect to challenges coming out for me. And they're all of it is because I want to help people get a certain result. I want to help them get the result that they want, right? And that's generally helping people to grow and supersize and build the business of their dreams. And I've been doing that for a couple of decades as well. So that's it. can I help you with today? If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. One of my biggest challenges over my lifetime has been to ask questions, ask for help. Maybe not asking questions, but asking for help. And for me, sometimes it felt like asking a question was asking too much, which it never is, right? People love to help one another, believe it or not. Some people don't, but it's usually their ego or something that's in the way, not that they don't really want to help. Because deep down, human beings, we want to help one another. That's it. That's all I've got today. Go out, make it an absolutely amazing day. I realize my alarm just went off, so that I'm way behind today. Not that, not behind by other people's standards, behind by my own standards. And that's what really matters, right? How we judge and question and set things up for ourselves. I say set yourself up for success. Set things up so that you can win. All right. If I can help you anyway, ask in the comments below or direct message me, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, also known as Pajama Grandma on most social media platforms. You can find me. Grandma is Gramma in most spots. Otherwise, have an absolutely awesome day. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow, day 755, reporting what's up, what's working, what's not working. I had some technical frustrations yesterday, but that's pretty much become an everyday thing. Now I don't get sweary and bent out of shape so much over technical things because I just know they're coming and it's up to me to respond. And if I'm upset, I have a lot harder time seeing the solution than if I just take a deep breath and say, okay, I'll figure this out, or I'll figure out how to do it another way, and then voila, it's done, and I don't have the stress and frustration of being like, okay, why is this not working? Why is Facebook changing? Why is this? Why is that? I don't know why. It's because that's the way they do it, and the way they want to do it for their business, and so I get to choose how I'm going to respond to that, or maybe I'm not going to use their software anymore. Up to me, up to you. Have an awesome day. Bye. See you tomorrow.